comes to your mind when you hear the word New York City? Will it be the Big Apple or maybe the Statue of Liberty? But I believe zoo is not on your list, right? But after this, you may want to reconsider your list and include New York Zoo, the rebranding of Darwin Zoo that our team will introduce. Hello everyone, I'm Justesya, the team leader of Filantropi, and I will be joined by my team members.
I'm Kathleen.
I'm Rojwa.
I'm Vidya.
Before we set a strategy, let us first take a look at the facts of the city where Darwin Zoo is located, which is in New York City. Based on NYC and Company, until 2019, it has been 10 years that NYC has always experienced an increase in their amount of tourists. A year before the COVID-19 pandemic hit, the city had 66.6 million tourists, which breaks the tourism record, and over 13 million of them are international tourists, with the majority coming from the UK, China, Canada, Brazil, and France. From the amount of visitors in 2018, 79% of those tourists came for leisure, while only 21% came for business. These facts all show how potential is the market of the Big Apple as a holiday destination and also from the diversity of its tourists. So the city can be seen as a perfect place to attract both local and international tourists. Yet, why Darwin Zoo, located in Brooklyn, one of NYC's most popular borough from 5 main areas, still facing significant problems, especially in terms of their financial.
Seeing how big the potential market that New York City has, Darwin Zoo should regard this as an opportunity and take advantage of this competitive edge. So we came up with these 3 key strategies that will help Darwin Zoo to improve its business, which consists of attract, innovate, and sustain. The attract strategy will be done by first rebranding the name of the zoo from Darwin Zoo to New York Zoo, and also through our marketing campaign plan that focuses on building positive image of Darwin Zoo, which is expected to attract visitors. The innovate strategy will be implemented by creating some new attractions in the zoo, which will be explained in more detail later on. The strategy aims to differentiate Darwin Zoo from its competitors, hence adding uniqueness to the business. Last but not least, the sustain strategy will be implemented by dividing it into 2 aspects, which are external aspects through IPO as well as B2B partnerships, and internal aspects through control management to maintain employees and customers' engagements for the zoo.
Currently, the zoo struggles with how it competes in the global amusement and theme park industry. 90% of Darwin Zoo's visitors consist of only people who live within a radius of 100 kilometers from the zoo. It is estimated that only 5 to 10% of Darwin Zoo's visitors are tourists. Throughout the fluctuating changes in weather, as the number of visitors surpasses 10,000, it is faced with reduced and prolonged services, as well as a logistic challenge due to its limited parking space. Initially, the zoo had to cut down restaurant employees in the park, but instead, it resulted in a negative impact on visitor experience. Next, the zoo is also heavily dependent on government funding. Especially due to the pandemic, the disposable income for households decreases. The city, so far, also has the highest number of COVID deaths in the US. To comply with health protocols, it will be very necessary for us to limit visitors, which would be conflicting in the first year as we aim to increase international visitors. Moreover, the Darwin Zoo is also competing with 9 larger zoos and aquariums across the US and 5 zoos in New York City. Fortunately, in the same year, North America was the largest region in the global amusement parks market, accounting for 33% of the market. By 2020, North America and Asia Pacific will be the fastest growing region's amusement park market. And in 2023, the global market is expected to grow and recover at a compound growth annual rate of 9% from 2021 to reach $89.5 billion US. It is also worth noting that the Darwin Zoo is strategically located in New York City. It is one of the most significant urban areas as it is an entry for the world's major commercial, financial, and cultural center. In 2018, New York City welcomed 65.1 million visitors. In 2019, the zoo has ranked 4th in the top 10 American zoos and aquariums and the 50 most visited attractions in the United States, attracting 22.3 million visitors in 2019.
Based on our analysis from all of the problems listed before, we identified that the main problem is with its brand awareness. For that reason, the key question is, how are we able to increase Darwin Zoo's brand awareness? We created a strategy that we named Attract, Innovate, Sustain. Attract strategy itself has 2 main elements. The first element is our marketing campaign. We've established a campaign idea as our marketing deployment plan with families and also couples as our target market. As based on a survey held by the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, 2 out of 3 adults visit a zoo with a child, and also we target couples as age demographic of Brooklyn itself shows that majority are people aged between 18 until 44. Our marketing campaign idea is divided into 3 phases. The first one is trigger, then experience, then amplify. For the trigger objective, it is to inspire our target market that New York Zoo is a modern place for conservation, rehabilitation, and education, and to spend quality time with loved ones. Second is the experience objective, which is to experience New York Zoo through our online animal feeding program or direct physical interaction with animals of the zoo. For the amplify objective, it is to create love and care towards animals, while visitors can also reminisce their childhood of going to the zoo and elevate their experience through our innovations that will be explained later on. The first message to trigger customers is conserving international wildlife in New York City since 1875. This aims to give an image that we're already an established zoo. Using our campaign idea, we will promote the zoo through different channels digitally, such as through the zoo's website, Instagram, YouTube, and also through key opinion leaders, especially WWF. The second thing that we're going to do is to do rebranding by changing the brand name of the zoo from Darwin Zoo to New York Zoo. Our main reason is that by including city name in our brand, it will give an impression that our zoo is one of the entertainments that represents the city, making our zoo as one of NYC's icons. Thus, New York Zoo will be a memorable attraction as it is easy to be remembered and can attract plus compete better internationally or with zoos around NYC such as Central Park Zoo, Queens Zoo, or even Bronx Zoo.
Imagine taking a sip of coffee in the morning while looking at elephants or giraffes. 2020 was the year of staycation. As of August last year, 63% of US adults took a staycation. In an international prospect with countries such as the UK, one staycation was booked every 11 seconds. Consequently, RVing was the second largest conventional activity nationally at 18.6 billion in current dollar value added. The motorhome market is anticipated to record a compound annual growth rate of over 6.5% during the forecast period of 2020 to 2025. Especially amidst the pandemic, this opens a prospect for visitors to have the option to rent or bring their own camper vans to book a stay in the zoo for a one-of-a-kind experience living safely in the wilderness. Consequently, the global culinary tourism market registered a compound annual growth rate of 16.8% from 2020 to 2027. High-income earners in New York also search for quality and experience rather than price. In fact, travelers spend approximately 25% of their travel budget on food, drinks, and other gastronomic activities. Thus, we came up with the idea of creating the first in the world molecular gastronomy restaurant inside the zoo. This restaurant gives it a unique atmosphere and combines science and food alongside the wildlife view. We aim to ensure that every customer gains a memorable experience included in an intimate wedding, family, or friends package. Also, did you know that today, according to the Yale Environment, artificial intelligence can identify wildlife as accurately as humans? As of 2019, researchers have already used an AI software called Command Line, specifically designed to answer your questions. A study in AI on tourism industry also emphasized that if it were to be applied to tour guides, it will greatly reduce human, material, and financial resources. Plans to upgrade include features such as route planning and language, where it can be stored to communicate with people of different countries for better services.
Now we're moving on to the third strategy, which is a sustain strategy. The strategy is divided into two aspects, which are the external aspects and the internal aspects. But first, I'm going to explain about the external aspects. The external aspect itself is divided into two, which are the to raise funds and to attract visitors. Darwin Zoo is currently a privately held company and has been dependent on government subsidy until now. So in order to operate independently from government subsidy, it is recommended that in 2021, the company should go public and hold an initial public offering or IPO. This would help the company to raise capital from public investors, which opens up a huge opportunity as it would provide the company with access to raise a lot of money for its capital. As Darwin Zoo has a strong recognition among other zoos in the US, rated according to their education and conservation, we see this as one of our strengths, which creates an opportunity for the zoo to form partnerships and collaborations with NGOs like WWF that focuses on saving and helping wild animals. According to their website, WWF has long supported the legitimate role of zoos in conservation and education, and currently some of the animals that Darwin Zoo owns are included in the animals list that are considered to be vulnerable and endangered, such as giant pandas, polar bears, and white sharks that are considered to be vulnerable, and also Siberian tigers that are considered to be endangered. By working together with WWF, Darwin Zoo would be able to raise more donations by, for instance, being featured in WWF websites, which will increase the exposure of the zoo to more potential donors. This partnership would also emphasize that that we are not merely a zoo, but also a conservation that helps and protects vulnerable and endangered animals. Other than partnership with NGOs, the zoo would also have to start partnership with tour and travel agents and also with travel booking websites in order to increase visitors. Forming partnership with tour and travel agents would give the zoo a bigger exposure to the potential international visitors. So when tourists are traveling to NYC with the tour and travel agents that have become our partners, New York Zoo would be one of the destinations in the itinerary that the tour and travel agents would bring the tourists to. Hence, through this partnership, it will definitely increase the number of international visitors, as we do not target only on individual tourists, but a group of tourists through the tour and travel agents that have become our partners. According to NYC and Company, the number of NYC's international visitors have been increasing every year. And the top 5 countries that visited NYC are UK, China, Canada, Brazil, and France. Therefore, New York Zoo first could focus more on building a partnership with tour and travel agents, companies that are based in these 5 countries. In addition, we should also partner up with the travel and tour agents based in NYC, as some tourists sometimes prefer local tour agents. New York Zoo should also create partnership with some travel booking websites, for instance, TripAdvisor.com, Klook.com, and others, as it would help widen the zoo's potential visitors, considering that most of people prefer to book their tickets online. According to Statista.com, 148.3 million travel bookings are completed online every year. Of course, visitors could also buy the tickets from our websites. However, partnering up with travel booking websites could also be part of our marketing strategy, where New York Zoo could be featured on the homepage of our partner travel booking websites.
Moving on to the next element from the sustain strategy, which is the internal aspect, we believe that one of the biggest factors in the smooth running of an organization is through their internal management itself. Firstly, staff as the most crucial assets in the overall customer experience. To answer the issue by Darwin Zoo, which is to have the adequate number of employees during peak season and low seasons, our solution is to resort to more part-time workers as they have more flexible shift distribution. And as we are trying to sustain our finance, part-timer is less expensive, hence it will make it more affordable to hire more experienced professionals. As Darwin Zoo mission to have the highest number of motivated, qualified, and educated employees, in order to do that, we need to apply the performance evaluation of the staff regularly to the KPI and change management as an approach to help the employees on making organizational changes. And also, it is important to take account on providing employees training such as twice a month in order to maintain the quality of employee, and then employee vacations together for them to bond with each other. This strategy will elevate the performance and the outcome of their work. And then secondly, it is the sustainment of the customer engagement. To maintain customer encouragement for the zoo, we recommend Darwin Zoo to maximize the utilization of the websites. However, before that, we need to use the artificial intelligence base to forecast the projected holiday date in 5 years ahead, so that we will be able to identify the peak season and the low seasons, thus giving us stable offers based on the seasons. To maintain customer engagement during low season, we provided the feature of online animal feeding. It is a platform to raise funds for animal foods, in which customers will be able to donate through our websites. Then we will give transparency on how they will utilize the money, and we'll also be providing videos when the zookeeper were feeding the animals through our social media. Through these features, it will improve the virtual attraction for customers, especially during the pandemic situation. As our strategy to have an equally distributed visitor frequency throughout the year, we will also be providing online booking tickets. This service will give transparency to customers by providing numbers on how many visitors have brought the entrance ticket. This will encourage visitors to visit the zoo during low season as it is less crowded. And then thirdly, the facilities management. To answer the service issues of limited parking space, it is best to promote the public transportation through our website and social media on how to get to New York Zoo by giving options by subway and buses. And in fact, New York City has the highest rate of public transportation use of any American city. All in all, our project timeline is as follows. First, from the low-cost development, our very urgent need is to do rebranding by changing our name to New York Zoo, as it is considered to be the most impactful step with the least cost and low risk. The risks are indicated through the color of the border, in which green means that it has a low risk. Moving on to our campaign, we will start to distribute it through YouTube platform. In the same year, we are going to establish our camper van innovation, as it has a low operational cost. To strengthen our financial situation, we need to do partner with IPOs and NGOs, and we will also need to start the website maximization in order to engage more visitors. For our international management, we will immediately resource more part-time workers and start to implement the employee training and bonding issue regularly. Moving on in 2022, In the high-cost development, once we get more relaxation on our financing constraints, we will step up our campaign by collaborating with calls and guerrilla marketing in 2023. We will also establish our second innovation with medium risk, which is the experiential package, including the molecular gastronomy restaurant. Then next year, with a high-risk innovation, which here indicates by the orange color border, we will establish the AI service. In 2022, once we reach the degree of normality from COVID-19 pandemic, we will partner with travel agents and booking websites. In 2025, which is the stages of maintenance, we will look back in the past 4 years for the campaign that we have implemented, then see which platform that has the most influential impact that could achieve the most positive response. Thus, we will reapply that platform again. Our key performance index for this 5 years growth plan that has accumulated the external and internal parties of the zoos. By 2026, we should be expecting a 1.7 million visitors, a triple increase of international visitors to 32%, and to be independent from the government subsidies.
Now, every solution comes with a risk. First, as of November 2020, the international arrivals to New York decreased as much as 93%, and the people and businesses of the city's tourism industry are in limbo due to COVID-19. However, in 2019, transportation and food did rank second and third respectively in the average annual expenditures of all consumer units in the US. With the prediction of COVID ending within a year, this gives a foundation for our innovations to still stay relevant by introducing fresh menus and activities every 3 months, adjusting to the current trends. Second, according to an online poll, about 35% disagree with the existence of zoos. Unfortunately, it was also reported that 75% of the world's Association of Zoos and Aquariums facilities have cases of animal abuse. According to the World Economic Forum, wildlife population sizes dropped by 68% between 1970 and 2018. Species are becoming extinct quicker nowadays than ever before. Here is where the New York Zoo takes place, where it gives homes to rescued animals that could no longer survive in the wild. It provides a safer home for animals who are tortured or illegally purchased as a pet as well. Third, McKinsey reported that 80% of respondents in the US say that crisis is affecting their daily work lives. Followed by a 2020 report, 53% of adults in the United States feel that the coronavirus has impacted worry and stress. Survey has resulted in sustaining trust and acknowledging that employee efforts are critical to employee engagement, well-being, and also effectiveness. Fourth, last but not least, cancellation and deposit fees should be instilled to anticipate the possibility of visitors canceling their purchases due to unexpected events. Moreover, the probability of having unsatisfied visitors or accidents is also inevitable, and it can be handled through public relations by damage control, such as sending out gift baskets, giving discounts for further purchases, or press conferences as needed.
With our Attract, Innovate, and Sustain strategy, in 2025, we expect to attract 1,784,531 visitors, in which 31% of them are international tourists. After implementing our strategy, we expect that the zoo's total visitors will increase significantly, with a total growth of 38% from 2021 to 2025, using the benchmark of 1.2 million visitors in 2015. The number of visitors and its growth rate per year could be seen in the first table. We can say that the expected visitors growth from 2021 to 2025 is more than twice the growth of the zoo's visitors from 2015 to 2019. Based on the zoo's historical data, as from 2015 to 2019, the zoo only had a total growth rate of 16%, which means that every year the growth rate was only around 4%. We also expect that the number of international tourists will increase significantly, especially in 2022, where people will start to travel again. And at the same time, we would also have our experiential package in partnership with travel and tour agencies, as well as partnership with ticket booking websites starting in 2022, which is expected to attract more tourists. So in 2025, we expect that 31% of our total visitors would be international tourists, which is a significant increase from before, which was only 5 until 10%.
For the revenue and expenses of our overall project, we're expecting an additional project revenue of 51% and expense as much as 43%, with details and its percentage division as listed in our slide. For the rest past expenses and revenue, we shall follow the past expenses and its revenue from year to year, yet we reduce some expenses such as visitor services, as we are expecting to reduce service expenses by the use of AI.
In summary, we believe by implementing our strategy, which is to attract, innovate, and sustain, we will be able to tackle all of the concerns by Darwin Zoo. At the end of 2025, we will be able to increase our international profile both scientifically and commercially by 32%. Then starting from 2026, Darwin Zoo will operate independently from government subsidies and we will be reaching a sustainable level of 1.7 million for the total visitors while maintaining a high service level from our employees and facilities. We are from the philanthropy team and this will be the end of it. Thank you very much.